Here we are. Boom. Just like that, as I like to say every week. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to the show. And as always, I'm your host, David Burrows. Thanks for stopping by. How's it going? How's it going, eh? Are you getting ready for Canada Day celebrations? What are you going to do differently? Obviously, it's going to look differently, right? We'll be talking a little bit about that, what's coming up on the Canada Day celebrations. Lovely weather we're having, I got to say. And, I think most of you probably know, how could you not know if you're not following me on Facebook? I have a motorcycle and I love to get out on my motorcycle and meet new people. And the weather's just been fantastic for it. So I'm very grateful to Mother Nature. I'm grateful to Mother Nature even when it rains. I mean, the grass has got to be green so it can grow, and then you got to cut it. My wife, Jennifer, cuts it. I don't. Corinder, there you go. Boom. Let's get started. Thanks for being here, Corinder. Appreciate you stopping by. Saw you earlier as well. That's great. There's let's go to the comments. There's boom. Let's get started from Corinder. There's my friend Jesse. Hey, back at you, sir. And for anybody else who's watching, wherever you're watching from, we're live in several places. I will see your comments if they're in the Facebook group or the page. Or on YouTube. We're live on YouTube as well, and also on my Twitter. Funny thing about if you're watching in the Facebook group, I know Facebook confuses things. There's Facebook groups, Facebook pages, and then there's Facebook profile, which is your personal. Now they got Facebook rooms and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, come on over to the page, wherever you're watching from. Are you enjoying the weather? And I got to say, so as much as I get out, as I do, and even how I'm getting out looks differently than how it looked pre-COVID, right? Not going much anywhere at night, so except on the motorcycle. But I have to say, for all the places I've been, for the most part, everybody seems to be social distancing, and they're aware, for the most part. I have to admit, I have to be very careful because I'm used to shaking hands a lot, right? And go up to somebody, and if they put their hand out, I just naturally go to put mine. It's just a habit, right? So I've caught myself a few times going, yeah. Anyway, whatever. I guess it depends who it is. Are you being selective about it? Who's in your circle, by the way? Because now, so you can have 10 people in a gathering, and then you can have 10 people. You can have your social circle, right? I can't believe I haven't seen any memes for that. Would you like to be in my circle? How much will you pay to be in my circle? I want to be in your circle. And you're only supposed to have one circle, but come on, let's be honest. How many really have more than one circle? Or maybe you have your circle and you chose a few of the friends over here and you said, well, come on over and join a few of these friends over here. And now we have a new circle. I don't know. It's all circular to me. Anyway, who else is out there? Bad dad joke. I know. Ron Watson's out there. Hey, back at you, Ron. And Joanne. Hey, Joanne. She's a fellow writer as well. Good to see you, Joanne. Thanks for coming by here today. So the weather's been good, and everybody seems to be cooperating for the most part. I mean, things are opening, but we still we got to make sure. We got to be careful, right? We don't want to get the worry for me is that we get too comfortable and going, well, they're relaxing things up, so everything must be okay. Don't worry about it. Let's just hang in there, right? And I'm saying it again. I say it every week. I only repeat what's important. Make sure you're getting the facts from the horse's mouth, I like to say. So lambtonpublichealth.ca is a great place to get your information on the numbers and things to do. Washing your hands is still important, social distancing. Go to sarnia.ca. They've done a really good job of adding another page on there all about COVID-19, phone numbers you can call. Even if you think there's somebody who's not following the rules, there's a number you can call there, right? Out of all of the complaints they've received and et cetera, I think only 5 charges have been laid. So good job, Sarnia Lampton. You're doing good out there. Where Jesse? Oh yeah, right. I forgot about that. My circle. That's so 2006 cell phone plan. Oh yeah, who's in your circle? I forgot about that. That's what was that long distance company? MCI. Do you remember MCI? And they had a Friends and Family something or other. I don't know. Do you remember MCI though? Wow, really dating myself there. Thanks for bringing that up, Jesse. Anyway, you get what I'm saying, right? So to the point, just be smart. Social distancing is still a must, so make sure you're doing that. And I mean, we're seeing things happen. I find it so interesting. Like everywhere I go, I'm seeing an outdoor patio. I'm seeing outdoor patios at places that weren't even allowed to have a patio before, and now they're having them. So I hope they get to keep them. Why not? We should have patios all down Christina Street and get rid of all the parking. Oh boy, look what I've started. Get rid of all the parking. Yeah. Everybody walk downtown, right? Go downtown and walk. Maybe we should close off downtown. Just everybody walk downtown. Right? Boy, have I started something? I don't know. Yeah, thanks, Jess. You're welcome. I do, speaking of downtown too, and I don't rant too often, but I'm about to, just so you know. So hold on to your seats. Careful, David. I think we have a beautiful downtown, Sarnia. We have a beautiful city. I've lived here all my life, so I love it. I love going downtown and seeing the new businesses that have come to life. Some come, some go. That's normal in any city. A lot of businesses fail in their first 3 to 5 years. That's just the way it is. So it's nice when we see things being rebuilt. I remember working downtown when I was 19 years old. I was a disc jockey in the downtown establishment. And I remember back then they had the business association, I think it's called, or whatever, and they were trying to clean things up. And over time, things have been rebuilt. We saw the Capitol Theater turned into the Imperial Theater, cleaned up, and all these different buildings put together. And we've done a pretty good job. For those who've been involved in it, it's come out pretty good. It looks clean in downtown. Now, people riding bicycles. Here it comes. I love going down to, where did I put it? Blackwater Coffee. Here we go. Shameless plug. Where is it? For my Father's Day, that was my Father's Day gift. Good job, Jason. You listen well. I like being out there downtown and sitting outside Blackwater in particular, and they've got nice tables out there, social distance, etc. And I'm sitting there, and I saw a lady there the other day with her, I would say 2, maybe 3-month-old in the baby basket. What do you call that? Strollers? I don't even remember what you call it. Anyway, carrying the baby, sets the baby down, and these 3 bicycles come along, flying by, in between every person sitting there at the tables, etc., and the little baby over here. And it's not the first time that I have seen this happen. And so far, nobody's been hurt. But it's just not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right? Do you agree with me on that? So I don't think the bicycles are supposed to be on the sidewalks. I think, and I haven't looked into this, so maybe I should. So don't quote me. Don't call your lawyers or anything. I don't have any money to get out of anyway. But I don't think there's a law that says you can be on the sidewalk unless it's unsafe for you somehow to be on the road. And there's lots of room on that road. So what do you think about that? What do you think we could do about that? What steps should we take to prevent this from happening? Because I just see somebody really getting hurt, and we need to do something. What's the steps? Does anybody know? Talk to me about that, if you will. So there's that, and I'm serious. I want to know what you think about that. I'm bringing this up because of the obvious safety concerns to our downtown Sarnia, et cetera, and the people involved. But I'm going to be adding some new elements to the show with David Burrows, and I got a list. Of concerns and thoughts, and I want you to be able to express them. Now, I understand everybody doesn't necessarily want to come on camera here and talk, so I'm in the works of putting together another show in addition to the show with David Burrows, where you'll be able to call in from your telephone, old-fashioned style, and talk. And I think that is something that we need to have again, that conversation, right? And I think that that I'm sounding cliche here. Your voice matters, all that stuff. Your voice does matter, but maybe we don't always know the route to take. So I'm hoping that with doing this new additional show coming soon to a Facebook channel near you, it's not even a thing, that we'll be able to get some people on here who'll be able to give some guidance. And, because I think there's a process in doing this stuff. We can all sit back and we can bitch, I'll say it, about things. And then we do nothing and it goes away. And then I think there are those of us who would, well, I'd like to do something about it, but I don't know what to do about it. And maybe you don't know a lot of people. You're not around the right people. I don't know. I think we can help each other out with this. But I do believe there is a process to say, okay, we don't like this happening. So I don't know, do we go to city council on this? Do we go to the police on this? I don't know. I don't have all the answers, folks. Just so you know, I don't know everything. Boy, you caught that. This is recorded too, isn't it? So anyway, you get my point out there. My first guest is laughing his head off. Unsafe, and what do we do? And would you, those of you who are watching right now, would you pick up the phone and call and participate in a show like that? If the answer is no, I won't do it. There's no point in doing it if nobody's going to call. Okay, so would you participate in that? Okay, so now I've stirred it up. Where do we go? Back to just see. They did that in my hometown. They did what? I don't know. Oh, here we go. Bikes should be on the road. For many years, we have heard share the road. It's not safe for them to be on the sidewalk. No, not at all. Now, that being said, I will say some cars need to learn the lesson to share the road with the bicycles as well. This is not a new topic. I didn't just discover this. But I sure as heck notice it a lot sitting down at Blackwater Coffee. And I've had a discussion with my friend Dave DeGuay down there about it. The lady with the... Anyway. There was a part of me that wanted to stick my arm out for a clothesline. Obviously, that wouldn't really solve anything. It would make it worse. But that was the anger I felt inside about it. And just so you know, it's not always the kids. I want to make that very clear. I think a lot of times when stuff happens, we tend to go, oh, those kids, oh, the young kid. No. It's a lot of times it's the big kids. Only once out of all the times I've seen that happen, I'm talking 30 plus. Come on. Okay. I just offended the kids. What else we got here? James Wright says there needs to be more bicycle lanes like they have on Russell and other roads that have added them to their reconstructed roads. More bicycle lanes. So do you mean like wider bicycle lanes or more around the city? Okay. I think you mean more around the city, right? That took some getting used to. I know when the bicycle lanes were first put in, I know some people were like, I don't like that. It takes away. You just got to adjust. Remove all roadside parking downtown and turn the space to bike lanes. Ooh. Interesting. You think that would work? Because I think a lot of people already say there's no parking downtown as it is. Here's the thing about the parking. Boy, I'm not, forget my first guest. I'm not going to him. I'm going to rant for another half hour. No, I'm just kidding. There's parking downtown. There's municipal parking lots, right? Park there. It's not far to walk. Anyway, okay. Where are we here? You're correct. A child can get away with being on the side because only bikes with a wheel diameter less than, don't know the exact diameter off the top of my head, are allowed on sidewalks. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. There's enough parking lots downtown. Joanne says, yes, I'll call my opinion. Very good. Okay. That's good to know. All right. I got you fired up. I'm glad. My friend Jay Peckham, who's patiently waiting because it's about his time to come on here, but I'm still going to make him wait because I can. He doesn't have one of these yet, I don't think. This Puck COVID T-shirt. Oh, you do have one? Okay, very good. In support of Lambton Elderly, he had to have one because I have two. $25 with all proceeds going to Lambton Elderly Outreach. Thank you to the Sarnia Sting for collaborating together with Leo to put together these Puck COVID T-shirts. Now, you can simply go to sarniasting.com to get those. I do have two, and I'm very, very proud of it. And this is all something that is a part of What the Truck Bingo. I'm only angry because I didn't think of it. This is awesome. Every Wednesday night at 6:30, a pre-show begins with a chance to win some great, cool prizes. donated by so many great local businesses, put on by Ron Clark Ford and Lambton Elderly Outreach. They've given away beer fridges. They got gift cards, gas cards, you name it, all kinds of cool stuff. It's on my YouTube channel. You can subscribe there or go to the Lambton Elderly Outreach Facebook page to find out more about that. Over the weekend, Western Ontario Outlaws, lawn tractor racing. Yeah, that's a thing, and it's pretty cool out in Petrolia. And I was out there live streaming it yesterday. Great races out there. Mother Nature cooperated. Lots of fun. And the next one will be on July the 12th, and I would encourage you to come out. There's the team, social distancing, getting ready for the day. Here's some of the races that happened. 4 years old to over 50. I'll put it that way. And it was really awesome. And the super mods get going. They're going around this track like 50 miles an hour, some of them. It's pretty cool. I can't wait to do it again. One of the winners here, number 88, he was very excited. Logan, congratulations. And some of the other racers and winners here as well. So it was a really good day. I was glad to be able to get out and show off the live stream and have some fun with everybody. And we'll be back there again on July the 12th. My friend Jay Peckham should come out because he'll want to race too. Okay, enough of talking about my friend Jay Peckham. Let's bring him on, shall we? Jay Peckham, how are you? He's like, yay, finally.
Hey, finally. And see, I do have my shirt on, so.
Oh, you did get it on. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Your audio's not matching your lip. Oh, give it, which is really weird.
That's really weird.
Oh, give it a sec.
Okay. Let's carry on.
Every other time it works. Well, we'll just keep going. It'll probably catch.
I blame the internet service provider.
I could. It's just so funny. You're like an old kung fu movie right now.
Okay.
So I see you laughing. Oh, now I'm hearing it. What did you do? You're playing a trick on me.
No, not at all.
No, I'm not really. Yeah, see, I just heard it now. I'm gonna take you out for a sec. Can you come right back in? We'll maybe try that. Okay. Let's kick him out of here. Okay, we can talk about him for a minute, but he'll be back. Jay Peckham has to defend his title of #1 Sting fan. He better. Oh, yeah, right. I can hear Jay fine, and it's okay. I don't know. Try again. There you are.
Does this work now?
Not for me, but they're saying the time is correct on my screen, so it must just be me. Okay, we'll carry on anyway.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Dad Channel. That's what you're like. It's hockey, it's theater, it's this, it's that. Now it's the Dad Channel.
Yeah, I can. You know what, David? It's probably I just can't seem to make up my mind with stuff. But you know, I'm one of those guys like you. I think I've got something to say, and I've got a lot of things to say on a lot of different topics, right? And so I was sitting around with my buddy Kip, who apologizes he can't be here today because he's working.
Okay.
But, you know, it was one of those things where we got to chatting and we realized that, you know, Kip and I mean, we're both fathers, but I mean, we're in both really, really different situations.
Yeah.
And I think there was some real cool parts of that came out of that. And I think the other thing that we had got to talking about when we started first conceptualizing this a few years ago was that, you know, the role of a father has really been kicked around a lot in the last, you know, 10 or 15 years. I mean, all of the, you know, movies and things like that. I mean, you hear lots about, you know, deadbeat dads, and then they do, you know, the daddy's home movies, you know, and you get these very stereotypical dads that are like, come on, you know, and they're either those overly, you know, fancy, very, you know, in touch with their feminine side dads that, you know, dote on their children and things like that. Or on the other end, there are these, you know, motorcycle riding, you know, big, strong, I mean, they're those quintessential dudes, and I think that, fatherhood takes kind of a bum rap in all of this. And anyway, that was part of the conversation. That was part of the reason why we started the Dad channel. Now, we've had a few years to think about it and to try and figure out what we want to do with it. And, it always seemed to just kind of be a back burner thing. But I think we're really moving it towards the forefront. I've been doing a bunch of research over the last few months and weeks, and there's lots of resources out there for dads, but it typically tends to be training and things like that for like new dads, or there's a lot of information about fatherhood and being a father and that sort of thing. But I think what I wanted to do, a lot of this was just that sort of one way. If you want to learn how to be a good dad, come here. And I think what we're really trying to do with the Dad channel is open a dialogue, because we more than most know that fatherhood comes in a lot of different shapes and sizes.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's dependent on your kids. It's dependent on your marital status, your job status. I mean, there's so many things that kind of have to come together to create this father circumstance and it's unique to everybody. Even when we went out riding yesterday, you have a very unique fatherhood experience, right? And I think you'd have a lot to share in terms of this. So, this is why we started it. We really wanted to have that conversation about, the challenges that we face as a father, the triumphs that we have, as fathers, and see if we can all learn a little something from each other about it,
Well, there's that I think the key word in all this, what you're doing is perspective, right? You refer to, our ride the other day, and we were having a conversation about some matters, and I offered a perspective that was probably like, whoa, didn't see that coming. Where did that? Oh, wow, maybe, and so if it gives us something to scratch our heads, because I know myself as a dad, like most dads anyway, want the best for our children. We want to teach them right. We have to discipline them. We have to this, we have to that. One kid reacts one way, the other kid reacts completely different. Why didn't that work? It worked over here. And the siblings are like, oh, well, you like that one better than me, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I do, because you're not anyway.
And it's not easy, man. Like, it's not easy,
So I know for somebody like me, I'm always looking for, and I have a lot of knowledge around me all the time. A lot of people that are experts in different fields, right? So I'm always like, whoa. But even then, I'm still like, wow, how did this situation? I didn't even see this situation happening, and boy, that backfired on me. And I guess support really is the other side of having.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the other part is that the further we get out, like, I want to say that my experience with my own father was not necessarily unique, because I don't want to necessarily sound like I'm an expert in any way, shape, or form, although my kids all turned out fairly good. So
you're an expert on your experience.
I'm an expert on my experience. Fair enough. But my own experience with my own father was very different, because he wasn't really there. For the most part, my parents, they divorced. I was 7, no fault, no blame. I'm not, I am not even remotely even interested in that, but simply that I ended up living with my mom, and my dad was working a job that kept him out of the country for large chunks of time. So I really, during my early years, I really didn't have access to a father or a father figure in that case, right? So, for me to then turn around and be a father, where do I get to draw on? You know what I mean? And so I have to say, I was fortunate enough to have some very strong and impactful fathers in my life, friends and family very close to us, that provided some perspective for me, which was great. But for as long as I remember, all I ever really wanted to be a dad. When I was in public school, my friends, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a crossing guard. I want to be a nurse, whatever it was. I just wanted to be a dad. And and as weird as that was, and I you know what, I love being a dad. I have to say that, in all of the things that I get involved with, the time I get to spend with my kids and the time that I get to help them make sense of this world and their lives, in our context, that's what's really, really, really super rewarding for me. And so I think, the dad channel is a place where where dads and even, moms, I don't care, kids come and we can have those open conversations about, what it's like to be a dad, good dad, bad dad, whatever. Let's see what we can do about sort of elevating that, I mean,
this wouldn't be just you then. Obviously, Kip McMillan is going to be your partner in crime in this, but will it just be the two of you like doing videos and stuff, or are you going to like hopefully pull in other dads and say, hey, we'll do a video this week, or like what's the framework like?
Well, and I think, we haven't really quite fully decided what it's going to end up looking like. It's certainly going to start with Kip and I, because I think for the most part, sort of we have a certain perspective, and not that it's exhaustive in any way, shape, or form, but we certainly want to bring other people in. But we want to create this in terms of, we want dads to help us create a resource for them that makes sense. So, while we have a rough idea of what the framework is going to look like, and we sort of have, sort of a loose script that we're following because we've been really trying to build something. Once we get enough people engaged and involved in it, certainly we're going to start drawing in from other people. And I've done a bunch of research. I mean, there are, like, you go look up dad or father or whatever, and there's Dad Central, which is a Canadian organization. There's anyway, there are dozens of them out there, and there's some really great resources. And I think we're going to start sort of tapping some of those experts as well, and try and bring them in and have, those pieces of conversation as well.
Okay, that's cool.
So but I don't want to necessarily say, Dave, that we've prescribed where this is going, down to so fine that we're not open to consider new options and where this is going, right?
Sometimes you plant the seed, and sometimes it grows on its own, right? I mean, if you look after it, or you can to tell you the same thing about the show from experience.
Yeah.
Now it's in a different direction. So, but the basics are there, and you just want to. Why now? Like I remember you talking to me about this probably 2 years ago. You said, I'm going to do the dad channel. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And then nothing happened, and then all of a sudden it showed back up again. Why now?
Well, you know what? To be perfectly honest with you, sort of this came up on Father's Day this year, and actually Fattener's Day, really, because we don't celebrate Father's Day in my house. We celebrate Fattener's Day, which is a great story. And but my children now, my youngest is now 18, and I'm on that verge of being the empty nester, and so. I think, why now? There's some of it's nostalgia. Some of it is, I'm passionate about the subject matter. There's been a few things over the last few weeks that I've heard or experienced with friends and friends of friends, where, it just came to a critical point where I think this conversation needs to start happening now.
Right. So timing.
And and I think, it probably should have started 20 years ago, but I mean, I wasn't in a position to be doing this 20 years ago. And I am now, and the technology's available, and the formats available, the platforms available. And, and I think that, given the number of fathers that are out there that needing perspective and stuff like that. I mean, right now I'm kind of in a unique circumstance, almost to a degree. I'm in a minority in the fact that, as of this July, my wife and I have been married 26 years, and we've raised 3 kids together, and we're going to be together for hopefully another 26 years. There's not going to be any more kids, but the point is that when I start talking to my kids about their friends and their peers and stuff like that, there are not a lot of people that are still in a situation where they have 2 parents that are still together, and I think that's really kind of eroded this whole thing. And the more movies I watch, the more angry I get about how dads are portrayed and perceived. And I think, like, I don't want to take anything. I mean, we had another conversation, a sideline conversation, and I don't want to say, like, when I say dad lives matter or some kind of thing, I'm not sort of saying that mothers don't matter and kids don't matter or anything like that. I absolutely have every respect for my wife and for the institution of motherhood. So I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that, there is a point where, the narrative about being a father, more often than not, has a kind of a negative connotation. And I'm, that infuriates me.
You want to make that change then?
I do. 100%.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a bit of a serious conversation, but I would imagine humor will be involved. I mean, you certainly, as a dad, gotta have a sense of humor. I never thought I would have.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. And I mean, truthfully, Dave, you and I know each other really, really well. Humor is pretty much a part of, I mean, that's an inherent part of my life. I mean, I have, if it's not fun, it's really not worth doing. Right. So, I mean, let's have some fun with this too, for sure. I mean, I think I've even posted on the dad channel so far a couple of your dad joke alerts. Because I love dad jokes.
There you go. I'll bring the dad joke. Maybe I should
100%.
Okay. I'll bring the dad joke. Okay. I'm out of time for you, Jay. I know I could give you a whole hour, or probably more. You should just have your own show. The dad channel show.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I'm excited to see more of what you do with the dad channel. And I know Kip, I've seen a couple of the videos there as well, and you guys put some humor into it, and that's good. And dads like beer too, so that's
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. A little beer with the cheese.
Thanks for being here, Jay. I got to move on. I'm sure I'll be seeing you on. We'll be out on 2 wheels again pretty soon. I'm sure.
100%. Thanks so much, Dave. Appreciate all you do, brother.
No problem. Cheers. My friend Jay Peckham, the dad channel, him with Kip McMillan. Go over there and don't do it right now because I want you to stay here and watch. But after, go over to the dad channel on Facebook, and there's some pretty funny stuff going on there. And I think it's a really neat idea, to be able, especially on a local level, to bring dads together and have somebody to lean on, so to speak, right? Okay, well, talking about support, we're going to go back out into the community right now and talk about business support, local business support. And my friend Rodney James Medwood is here to join me. Good day, sir.
Man, how is it going?
How is it going? It's like the question of the day every day, right? If you ask somebody, how's it going? You mean it this time. And then I think
everybody wants updates. Everyone wants updates.
Yeah.
Every
I
day,
think we're being more honest with the answer.
I think so too. I do. But literally, I mean, I just saw that last segment you did there with the dad talk. That was great.
Yeah. Well, Jake Beckham, pretty creative guy too. And I know it's something he's been talking about for a couple of years, actually. So I'm glad to see him bringing the project to the forefront.
That's amazing.
But let's talk about you and the supporting Sarnia business during COVID-19. This is something, a group here on Facebook that's it's got over 8,800 members now. Let's go. The name kind of says what it is, but let's go back to how it started and what it really means to you.
You know what? Honestly, I never get sick of telling the story either, because it's just something that's changed my life in a positive way too. It was one of those things where, Kendra and I, we've made a lot of friends since we've been here in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of them have been people in the restaurant industry, especially in the beauty industry, just for whatever reason. But, you know, I got upstairs one day and Kendra said, hey, there was one of our friends is really wondering right now if they're going to make it through this restaurant wise. So we started talking about simple ideas about, you know, just sharing their posts and stuff like that and helping, you know, through just letting our friends see their post. And that was step one. But I got into my shop that day and I started sanding kitchen doors because we all know how much fun that is. Right. So believe me when I say I had a lot of time to think. Right. So I was sitting there and I was sanding the doors, and I got to this point where I started thinking about what Kendra and I were talking about. And that's when all of a sudden...
Oh.
I lost a call. Sorry.
So, don't worry. Okay, you're there.
Awesome. I had a call coming in. So anyways, what happened was I was there in the shop and I thought to myself, you know what, let's try to get this to, you know, a little bit more of a strategic level for all the companies and businesses out there. So I pictured a group that was basically a menu of menus for restaurants so that restaurants were able to just give a little bit of an easier strategic, you know, output to people to take in so that they can post, you know, menus for the week and take out strategies and stuff like that when it came to how are they going to do it, what are their safety measures and stuff like that, and, you know, letting people know, you know, where they can enter and how they should enter. So it was more of a strategic stuff for the restaurants to begin with in the beauty industry.
Yeah, but well, it's really caught on to more than that, right? You know, it's not just the restaurants and the beauty. It's but this is active, and what I mean by that is you didn't just create this group and start sharing posts. Which, as a social media guy for many years now,
you know this, yeah, you know this.
The share button is the one that gets used the least.
It's totally
out of the like, comment, and share until COVID showed up. And now all of a sudden everybody's paying attention to that share button. But 100%. You're now that you can, I guess, obviously you couldn't do this in the beginning, but you've really gotten creative and you've gone out to, like I saw you at our friend Oswald's there, you know, you took a video. I've seen you at Boulevard and all these different places, and you're going out in the community and making sure. What's the reaction been like from that business sector?
You know what, for me, like, it's one of those things where I try to be careful not to, you know, give off any sort of, you know, cocky kind of vibe about the whole thing, because, you know, all the stories that I can tell you about what the businesses have told me about what the group has done for the business would just sound cocky, because, you know, we have these businesses come up to us and say literally 75% of their business is coming from our group.
That's awesome, though.
And that moves me so much. It's crazy, but you're just careful of the way that you say that, because, I mean, for us, it's just about supporting other people. This isn't, you know, this is a group where it's literally just hoping that this town that's been so good to us, hoping that the group can, you know, just allow these businesses thrive and survive, and then we can all pat each other on the backs later for this.
Yeah.
But for now, let's just survive. And it was really cool because yesterday I had Bushy Salsa, and they're from Grand Bend, and it's really cool because, you know, when we say supporting Sarnia businesses, I mean, there is a sort of kind of a ring, Lambton wise, that we're supporting as well, and it kind of stops at Grand Bend, but it's a perfect spot there. And they came to our house a couple days ago, brought some salsas over, and you know, I asked them just like everybody else, and they said, just, you know, straight up, you know, like, your guys' group is our sales, and we appreciate that. And for me, it's just like I've always, you know me, Dave, I've always lived a pretty positive life, and in the last 4 years of being here, it's been really awesome musically and everything. But this one, this is kind of on a different level.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and we'll go back 4 years when we first met. I think it was at some kind of function. I honestly don't remember, but I remember when we did, and then
Sarnia
it,
Sings.
it was Sarnia Sings. That's right.
Sarnia Sings.
And we got connected through that, and you got talking about your music. And I remember in that conversation, though, that you were already talking about this community and why you chose to plant your feet here and how you were enjoying being here. Obviously, would you agree then, from what you saw when you got here to where it is now, it's everything you wanted it to be?
I have shivers up my spine right now. I'm not just saying this. I feel like I'm like at a concert right now and like my favorite song's on, because I'm replaying everything. And I literally go all the way to hopping in my truck with my dog in the trailer in Calgary and hitting that highway, hitting number one and going, here we go. Yeah. And this experience has really brought me back to that. And it's just like, for me, I feel like a really lucky dude that this whole thing has happened. And that, you know, I mean, the vibe of Sarnia when I first got here, thank God I met a gal that was from Sarnia and brought me here.
Right.
But the vibe
it's pretty
of
awesome,
Sarnia,
man.
I'm a lucky guy, and that's why I try to do my best for other people, because I feel like, you know, that it's been this way. But the story goes all the way back to that, and I just picture myself in a trailer driving to a town that literally has been nothing but gold to me, and that I was able to do the same thing for the town. So it's like,
yeah,
what better position to be in?
No kidding. I couldn't agree with you more. It's probably one of the reasons why you and I get along and like each other so well. We have all the same philosophy. And I missed you, by the way. It's hard we haven't been able to run into each other. We'll have to find a way to do that. But you mentioned your music in there, and I think, you know, it's pretty obvious you're sitting there in front of your Roland, and you got your own little studio going there. Let's talk a little bit more about the music. How has that experience been for you here in Sarnia?
The music has been really cool, because I did kind of have the mentality that once I moved here that it would be just a straight up trying to build my kitchen business up, and putting music completely on the back burner. But once I got here, and I was showing people some of my folky stuff with the suitcase, kick drum, and the snare with my feet and stuff, that people dug it. So I started doing a little bit of that. And then was lucky enough to, you know, just have musical experiences with a lot of the talented artists that I've played with so far in town. And it's just, I just didn't expect to do, you know, playing with the Ainsworth brothers and having a really good time with that. And then, you know, all of a sudden Rodney Jameson and Riot comes up, and I've got, you know, Tyler Smith and Braden Ruckle and Mason Stewart, who are all, you know, well-known people in town who are good-hearted people, and I'm lucky enough to play with these talented people. Yeah. And then, you know, just, you know, playing Global Morning Show in Toronto and the legendary Horseshoe Tavern in Toronto, and like all these cool things. You know, Border Fest, you know, getting on stage with Matt Mays. Like, I mean, I wasn't expecting any of this.
Didn't see that coming, eh?
No. I just kept singing. I kept singing.
Yeah, right. But you do a fantastic job of it. I can't wait to see you perform again. You've got a young family, right? You have a young boy?
I've got 2 young boys. I've got, you know, Kingsley, he's 8 years old now, and Brixton, 16 months now. I'm still doing the months thing. But, you know, 2 little, you know, beautiful, kind fireballs just rolling around the house. And
fireballs, there you go.
And you and I talked about this.
Oh yeah.
We talked about this before about, and I don't mean to cut you off like that.
But, no, go ahead.
Just the whole family aspect towards this group. You know, when we had chatted before about, you know, how the family's been so involved in this, because especially with Canada, because I mean, this was such a brainstorm between the 2 of us to get this ball rolling for the community business wise, and it's been a lot of fun, just in just having the whole family involved in the whole situation, just so that it's good for the kids. I mean, I was kind of segueing into that, you know, like your young family, and what kind of lesson, you know, obviously it's 16 months, pretty young, but your 8-year-old
has he talked to you about this and what it means? Have you had those conversations with him?
He's, you know what, he's turning into his own, I'm trying to find the right word, but he's turning into his own personality, social media wise. You know what I mean? It's really funny because the first thing that he's getting for a lesson off of this is to help other people, which is great.
Right.
And it's sinking in big.
Great
I mean,
lesson.
he's at that age. He knows what's going on.
Yeah.
But he's also listening to his dad, who sometimes talks a little too much. And, he's watching me, and he's seeing how I do stuff and how I try to, throw a happy spin on things for people. And, he's doing the same thing himself. When we've done some of these reviews, I kind of let him take the floor and explain, like Bane's barbecue is my favorite because when he got in there, I said, okay, you're taking the floor, you explain your plate. And it was just so cute because he literally just, did it the way that I would have done it.
Right.
It was so smooth. It was so smooth.
It's a cool feeling. Well, you're teaching him well then, Rodney. That's fantastic. I think it's fantastic what you're doing. I have talked to some other businesses in the group, and I've been told the conversations. I've overheard the conversations on Facebook and in person with people, and it's really, really having a positive impact on the community. And that's one of the things that I admire about what you're doing, and the fact that you include the family and all of that. It's just all angles of what is happening with this group it's just all positive, and I love the positive. So congratulations to you and your family on the success of it.
And I appreciate you saying that because, it's something that is always like a nice thing to mention to people is that, it's about the positivity, but the main outcome to make this work, and the reason why it's such a positive pushed group is because of the productivity. It's as soon as, this group here is about highlighting the good things about companies for a reason. Because, once you say anything negative, then that thread just it warps into nothing.
It does.
And so that's why the reason why it's so strict, and I hope that anyone listening could understand from my point, is that the reason why it's 100% positivity is because I watch threads. You go on Mummy Market or any of these other things, and I watch threads go downhill in a heartbeat. And it just doesn't happen in a group. It's a safe place for everybody. And that's the way we're going to keep it. Hopefully you guys don't mind the kids banging upstairs, if you can hear that.
Yeah, they're being kids.
But it's a safe place that I want everyone to understand that the positivity is because of the happiness, but also because of the productivity. And then the other thing that I want everyone to understand too is that our post, it has to be about businesses. So, if you have something you're questioning whether you can post or not, as long as it's about a business, doesn't matter from what angle, just make it about business. And then everyone, it's a positive and it's about business, and no one should have anything to say about your post.
Perfect. I know I've got to wrap up with you here, but real quickly, I'll say I know my son, he started an iPhone repair business, posted in there, and immediately got response. Pardon me. So it's working, and no doubt people are having that positive impact. So Rodney, thank you again. Thanks to you and your wife. Say thank you to your wife for looking after the kids so we could have you here today.
Kendra, we love you. Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you in person, my friend, and having some more conversation.
Yeah, the patios are always a nice way to go.
100% for sure. Thanks, Rodney. Take care. Rodney James was my friend 4 years ago. Great positive. What we can really do when we decide some days showed up and we had to be creative. Talking about positive, I've got a few things. I don't have another guest for a couple things on over this is the virtual Canada Day Parade that I put together. Thanks to the support of Stuart and Lanston, and also my friends at Great Expression coming up with a Great Expression on football. And from this, we are supporting
want to give them some money. They put so much into it. It's been built. They've had a lot of great community support. Now we want to continue to support those that have been there and skills. There as well. And this is a hope for them, an opportunity for a better future. And it's very important that there are a lot of great organizations that will support their group. It's very to live there. If they are registered, they're citizens, they'll teach them and help them become better parents, better teachers, more productive, all that stuff. I trust. This is very important. So any of the fees that have come from the British Parade is donated to that as well. When I go live on Canada Day, I'll be going live to the city of Sarnia from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I'll have a live broadcast. Directly from Ottawa. I will be live on Canada Day from 2 to 3 p.m. and I'll have some special guests, which I'll be posted and scheduling that on the whole event. Special musical guests as well.
And we will show off the submissions from the virtual Canada Day Parade from some of our local businesses and organizations, as well as we will have the shout outs that the city of Sarnia received from many of the community members that will be here. We'll be broadcasting that as well. Should be close to a full 1 hour presentation, and we're looking forward to that. During the broadcast, we will have a special donation link that if you would like to make a donation to Ohana Landing or the Lambton Supportive Transitional Housing to support them, that link will be available. And we hope that you'll reach as deep as you can to offer some young folks between the ages of 16 and 24, offering them hope with your finances and your donations. So we'll have that coming up on Canada Day. And then in the evening of Canada Day from 8 till 10 p.m., I will be broadcasting, simulcasting the broadcast live from Ottawa. We'll have that here.
So Canada Day celebrations are still on. They're just looking a little bit different. Canada Day was the Canada. We hope to be able to very, very great. All right. Just before I just wanted to hear a few stuff about John David or David Burrows. At the early stages of the show, believed in what I was doing and supported him. But the show, founder and editor.com online, as well as Maybe was somebody who was able to touch many people's lives and advise as well. Which is a very strong faith support and I'm very glad that I was able to know him. We didn't always agree on anything, I can tell you that. But over this house, not a lot of people know the hour. He just come over, we do it up, and I left my
Thanks for all the coffee. And we had some great debates, some great conversation. We had a lot of positive laughs together too. We learned from each other. He thought that he learned a lot from me. He always told me, David, I've learned so much from you. But he probably doesn't even realize just how much I learned from him. And when we did have our moments of strong disagreement, we might take a break from each other for a few days, but we always came through it, and our friendship was stronger because of it. He is someone I will miss very, very much, and I know that many in this community will miss him. He probably doesn't even realize when he was still with us how much he was loved and how important his impact was in this community of Sarnia Lambton. There's a list of people missing J.D. Booth, and I just wanted to take this moment to give my condolences and love to his family. His friendship is something that I'm having a hard time missing already. in the beginning of our friendship 9 years ago, he gave me this book. It's called Lost in Kmart and Other Family Adventures by J.D. Booth. It was put out and copyrighted in, I believe, 1996. Yep. And here's to you. This book would not be possible without the good humor of my friends and family. To them, and especially my wife, Lynn, and sons, James and John, I dedicate this book. It is a hilarious adventures in Kmart. JD used to write
a regular humor column. Washington Kmart and other family adventures is a compilation of also American I've read it twice already, and it was about 2 years ago since I read it. But I started doing it. Tell us getting close to the holiday shopping. Getting more and more difficult. And Bruce, great friend, love you very much.
friend. Thank you all very much for watching this program. Until next time, that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week.